to Champions Spring. Your MVP of Game 1 was Pilot. Frontlining as Ashe in that last fight was actually exactly what he needed to do, doing his best Prey impression, and honestly, looking great doing.
Yeah, it's really no surprise that he ends up getting this. Played phenomenally. Didn't even die for the majority of that game. I think within like the last 8 minutes or so. But just doing so well on Ashe. This was a questionable champion for us. We weren't sure how well it was going to do with the changes. But Pilot just really playing it for him.
I mean, so much was necessitated for this Ashe pick. Ashe needed to be an initiator. She needed to be the consistent CC and needed to do the damage. And Pilot, everything on his shoulders came through in all three. The arrows were on point, arrow after arrow. But again, once the QSSs came in, you might think, okay, Ashe is now a non-factor. But with the Hurricane build, with the fact that consistently was putting out the slows onto the enemies, it opened up Kuzan and the other divers to really make these fights work.
Yeah, he really enabled the rest of the team to do what it needed to do. The Pilot just amazing. Like, look at that, just tearing through the enemy team. And like you said in that last fight, which we'll see in a little bit, just going up into the faces of the enemy, but just great positioning overall.
And SBENU, this was where we see a Braum flank, which lets you know that there was some real problems going on, the defensive Braum flank with 3 squishy damage dealers. The last fight, though, that's the replay I want to see. We're going to see it after. This is just some cleanup from Pilot and friends.
Sasan just trying to get in range.
Watch Ashe through this fight. So starts off the fight is doing consistent damage, is looking to get CC on multiple members, and then realize there's the backline. No one else has the CC to follow in. Flashes in for the kill on Caitlyn, still alive, damaging and slowing down 3. Triple kill, 8-1 and 9. Pilot, what a first game from him.
Yeah. Welcome back, guys, to Champions. See MVP, Pilot. Big surprise.
How could it be anyone else? There were definitely great performances from the likes of Trace and Winged. But at the end of the day, the ability of Pilot to skirt around the outside of a fight on Blue Ezreal was something that we've always known he's had, but the consistency he put out in this series was just something that he's reached for in the past, but never really grasped as well as he did today.
Yeah, especially on Ashe in that game 1, which is a champion that is obviously not nearly as mobile as Ezreal because he does have that arcane shift, still positioning so well and just knowing his limits, being able to run up into the face of his enemies. Just overall fantastic performance by Pilot. Very well-deserved double MVP for him today.
It's great watching Ezreal on the outside. Remember, doesn't have big damage because he's got the blue build, and of course, steady. The armor penetration really came up trumps against Rammus and Nautilus, and just the fact that he could stay alive, reposition, always free hitting, compared to Nuclear, who struggled to get any auto attacks in a lot of the fights, to show the difference. It was lots of consistent damage versus just the modicum of damage. You know, watch Nuclear in this fight. DPS down by Pilot's ultimate. What does he contribute? 1 auto attack, 1 Q, and then he's running around the back, completely zoned.
Yeah, wasn't much for him to do. Also was very consistently out of mana in a lot of those fights as well, but I think we've harped on him a little bit long enough for that.
Essence Reaver on Sivir, guys. Freelo right there in 6.4.
Just buy the item. It's not even that expensive.